Hello guys, and welcome back to another video about literature. After a long time of absence, I finally can manage it to create content in this channel, and I'm very sorry about that. I was really busy dealing with my father's illness, but he is now much better, much better, and now I can have time to create contents for this channel. So sorry about that long time of absence. Anyway, my name is Sohail, and if you're interested in topics related to literature, reading, literary criticism and so on, hit that subscribe button to watch my future videos as well. And today we are going to talk about one of the best and famous sonnets by William Shakespeare, about lovely relationships, about romantic relationships we have. And it's very important that a sonnet near 500 years ago can be helpful right now in the modern times. And this is the genius of the writer William Shakespeare, a man 500 years before us, but writing something which still is useful. And we are going to talk about the lesson, a lovely lesson about our relationships, about our lovely relationships with girlfriends or boyfriends, or with husband and wife. Any lovely relationship that we have can be used here, and we can learn a big lesson from Shakespeare in this sonnet. So let's talk about it in this video. William Shakespeare's sonnets from number 127 to 154 are very famous and well known, and they are called dark lady sonnets because they are devoted to a kind of a mysterious lady. We don't know who she is, and that is not that much important. We know that she is a lady, and that is enough. What we have is only the texts, and I think that's enough for us to dig in and to analyze those sonnets and texts and lines of poetry. So this dark lady is often called by William Shakespeare in these sonnets, and all sonnets talk about one lesson, one big lesson about the beauties of love, about the lessons and obstacles we have in this kind of important relationship we have all in our lives. So let's talk about this poem. Let's read it together, and then we can talk about it with more details. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun? If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare. Wow. This really satisfies the soul, this kind of poetry, this kind of diction. This is really interesting, isn't it? Talking about the sonnet as a very famous and special kind of poetry, we need to go back to the history of this genre of poetry, to the Italian writer Petrarch, and we have the Petrarchian sonnet with its special features. And then we come to Shakespearean sonnets that we have here today. And there are lots of difference in the case of rhyme structures and as well as the content. And what we have to talk about is more about the content. The rhyme structures are not that much important to talk about in these videos. It is very good for the students of literature, especially in the case of PhD, to talk about these kind of styles of rhyming. I don't know that those musics we have in the case of words. What we want to talk about is the content and how Shakespeare comes near or gets far from Petrarch in the case of content, and we have lots of differences. So we are going to talk about some of the differences in this poem because they are very well written by Shakespeare in this sonnet. Sonnet 130 is the description of the poet of his lover, of her important parts including lips and breasts and hair and so on. And surprisingly, the reader is shocked when he or she sees that Shakespeare is describing these body parts very strange and very normal and in some cases very ugly. So why Shakespeare is doing that? And this is really the point we are going to talk about. This is the point Shakespeare is trying to provoke. Shakespeare's lover is different from other lovers in the world, or other lovers in the world of other poets. So other poets try to write about their lovers like a courtly love, like a very heavenly picture, what we have in the case of Petrarchian sonnets, as I mentioned. So this is one of the big differences. So Petrarchian sonnets is very idealistically presented. So the lady there is heavenly presented, very beautiful, very white, I don't know, very, very beautiful, that we don't have such pictures in the real world. But the Shakespearean sonnet is more realistically presented, more realistically depicted, the lover of Shakespeare. And this, in the first, it seems that Shakespeare is trying to actually destroy the lover's picture, but no, the final couplet actually concludes that Shakespeare loves this picture, loves this normality, and this is a very important point to consider here. When we are looking at the imageries used by Shakespeare, it is very interesting. We have eyes, we have lips, we have breasts, we have actually hairs, I don't know, we have cheeks. These are the very important things, the way she talks, the way she walks. And these are the cliché descriptions we have in the history of love poems in the literature. The cliché descriptions are that, yes, my mistress' eyes are like that. She walks like a goddess. She speaks the best music. These are the ideal pictures we have in the history of literature. Even today, when we are describing our lovers, we use some strange and some ideal pictures of this love, and that is not the case in the way Shakespeare does it. Shakespeare's lover is more normal than that. Her eyes are nothing like the sun. Her lips are not that much red. Her hair is not that much beautiful. She talks like others. She walks like others, not like a goddess. And this is very funny in the first presence, but when you think about it, you think that, yes, my lover is also like that. My lover is not that much beautiful, is not that much perfect in her shapes and so on. So why the writers of the history of literature use this kind of ideal picture? That is the poetry, that is the fictional creations of the writers. But what Shakespeare is trying to depict here is not only the deconstruction of those views and those ideas in the history of literature, but he is provoking a more important message here, that your lover is perfect, whoever and whatever she likes. So this is the point. This is the point we are going to talk about, and this is the point we reached at the end in the final minutes of this video, that your lover, you are that watching this video, your lover is perfect, whoever she is. If you love her, if you love him, that is enough. And you shouldn't compare him or her to others, to those ideal pictures. Those ideal pictures are for literature, are for fiction. In realities, we have real pictures, and those real pictures are more important, and we need to face them every day. This is not the ideal world, this is the real world. And very important message here that Shakespeare provokes, thanks to him. And as I mentioned earlier, the final couplets of this poem shows how Shakespeare loves his lover, and yet means that far from all the descriptions I mentioned so far, yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare, and that is the point here. A very important interpretation lies here, a modern interpretation. This is very interesting for me. We can actually analyze this poem based on the modern world, a world of modeling, a world of branding, a world of makeup, a world of Instagram and YouTube, a world which everything is fictional, everything is fake, everything is false. And if I compare my lover to those lovers on Instagram, to those female pictures on Instagram, this is a false compare, and I shouldn't do that. So see how beautiful a man 500 years ago talks about a kind of way, a type of loving, a shape of loving, which now I'm in 2024 understand it, and I accept it as a way to love someone. So this is the picture, this is the beauty of the literature we have. So this makes William Shakespeare a kind of universal writer, a kind of world literature writer. Anytime, anywhere you can understand it, and it is true. A false compare. So you shouldn't compare your lover to those female or men in the Instagram, in the social media, in the branding. Those people are beautiful, okay, that's enough. They are not the ideal picture. You don't talk to them. You know, in some parts of the poem, Shakespeare says that I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. So I love to speak to her, but it doesn't mean that her voice is very beautiful than music. But the speaking is important. The speaking is important, not the voice. Lots of lessons are hidden here, okay? So we need to talk about it. We need to talk to each other. We need to know deeper levels of characterization in ourselves. We need to find beauties inside of a character, not the outside, because the outside is the ideal. You have an ideal in your mind, and when you face your lover, you say that, oh, can you make up, please? Can you do something? Can you go to a surgery for your nose? I don't know, something like that. You need to accept it. You need to accept your lover as the way she is, as the way he is. And this is the beauty Shakespeare provokes in this beautiful sonnet. And that's it. Life is like that. Real and real. Well, this is the end of this video, and I hope this content suits your interest and actually desires about literature and beauties of literature, and you see how a man 500 years ago wrote something and still it works. It really works well, and we got a big lesson from the big teacher of literature, William Shakespeare. I hope you learned it very much and you apply it to your life. Very well, thank you for your attention. I try to analyze more poems in this channel if you're interested. Of course, if you are interested, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will create videos about these poems, these beautiful poems. Thanks for your attention. Take care.